Hello and welcome back to the Logos Corner podcast. Today I'm with a special guest. His name is Jack. Jack, how are you doing?
Israel, je vais bien. I'm doing good. How are you doing? By the way, thanks for having me on your podcast. It's such a pleasure for coming here on the podcast and we talk. I'm so excited and looking forward to discuss with you and posez-vous les questions, Israel. Et bon, attends, dis-moi, how are you doing, Israel?
Oh, Jack, thanks for asking. I'm doing good and I'm thankful for today and thankful that I'm still alive, Yeah, so much to be grateful for. I remember, Jack, before when we were discussing on a call, you told me that you have some questions, that you wanted to ask. Let's start with those.
Ah ouais, Israel, first of all, merci pour m'introduire. Thank you for introducing me. And so I was wondering, I came across this. I think to find young people uh, find a hard time to find their place in this world. So a lot of young people tend to underestimate themselves in this world. So Israel, how do you think that comes about, and what are your thinking and your thoughts on this sujet?
Now, that's a very good question. So, how do young people tend to underestimate themselves in this world? So the thing is, if you look around, like majority of people are have given up on living. How? So they lack purpose, and because they lack purpose, they don't have ambitions, and then because they don't have ambitions, they don't have what to live and live for and stand by. So what you find is that now you find people who are actually surviving. So they're living through this life with no clear goals, with no clear purpose, and they take the energy or the libido to actually go and penetrate the world and actually get what you want from the world, actually use it to pursue hedonistic gains. Like you find now, most young people are into the hedonistic culture where they are indulging in abuse of drugs, or they are in hookup culture and everything, all the influences you've seen. Then you find that there is no clear goal, there is no clear purpose. So what's happening is that they're trying to numb the pain, they are trying to escape reality. But what they tend to forget is that you can choose to ignore and think that you're escaping reality, but you cannot escape the consequences of escaping reality. So you are free to escape reality as a whole, but there is a catch. So you can't escape the consequences of escaping reality. So you can choose to ignore and indulge in hedonistic gains by indulging in more drugs, in abuse, of drugs, alcohol. You go in alcoholism, then you go in hookup culture, you find all that. Then what you're gonna find is that will give you a little bit of high, to give that dopaminergic hit, and then what will happen is that you are gonna forget a bit, you're gonna feel good, you're gonna feel happy, and then but after that you're gonna feel again you need the same thing. So there is gonna be something that's calling to you, something that's bothering your soul, something that's bothering your mind. Your unconscious is gonna call you out when you deviate. But now what you tend to do with it is you have two choices. You can face reality, is like you face your own unconscious by walking through hell, because it's not pleasant. It's hell itself, because you're looking into the deepest part of yourself and you are discovering and unveiling that part of you that you didn't know exist. So which is actually a very hard thing to do, and which is not pleasant, but it's gonna be what you need to transform and be the person you want. Now what you're gonna find something that's very different. Now You can choose to do that, walk through hell voluntarily, then you're gonna be the person that you want. And then what's gonna happen is that you're gonna face temporarily pain, and you're gonna face temporarily abandonment from everyone and from life trying to reject you because you're not going according to the norms. You are escaping what most people have called the matrix. You're escaping the matrix, and you're choosing to get the red pill. Yeah, not this is red pill, but just saying. Then what? Then you have another alternative. Then okay, ignore and don't go through that hell voluntarily. Then what's gonna happen is that you're gonna live through hell now. Now you could have walked through hell and actually discover yourself and conquer hell as a result, and actually be the person that you are and harness that part of you that you've never actually quite gripped on, that part you are so scared of, that part calls to you, that part wants to be great, that part that wants to sit down and focus and do the work, that part wants to actually conquer and be significant in this life and actually give the gift to the lives that need it. Give what you are brought to this world to do, but your conscious thinks it knows it all, but your unconscious mind is calling to you, is calling to those small things that bother you. There is a reason why those small things bother you, specifically for you, not everyone. So you have things that bother you, and they are unique to you, and have things that bother me, and everyone have things that do call to them. And then instead of tending to those things that actually do bother you, what you're gonna find is that you're gonna choose not to face them, and then what's going to happen is that your unconscious mind will express them in different ways. Then you're going to find you are living a miserable life. Then you're going to say there's no such thing as miserable life. Is that you're going to feel it. No one is going to tell you that it's a miserable life, because you're going to find yourself you're not happy. You don't know what's wrong. You don't know you feel something is off. You can't explain it. You feel that there is more to life, but you can't actually grip it. Yes, that is the reality calling to you. You choose to escape it, but it's gonna come back to you, and it's gonna have consequences, and you want to escape those consequences. There is no drug that you're gonna take that's gonna take all the burden away. You're gonna need more. There is no substance or anything on this world that's gonna take that pain, and that's gonna take that which makes you and make you feel empty. But instead of actually tending to your unconscious mind, listening to it, learning to be one with it, so that you can conquer and be what you want. Tell me, do you want to live that mediocre life that you're living? Do you want to live the way you're living? Or do you just want to focus and achieve and put down goals and strive to them, work towards them, finish them, attain them, and then closer and closer you get to your purpose, and then you get to your purpose, you're going to find that's going to benefit you, and it's going to benefit everyone around you. So do you want that? The question is, do you want that life where you're going to regret, or you want the life that where you say, I've done all I could, I've lived, and I'm so proud of what I've achieved? Or you're going to live a life hating on everyone, hating on those who have actually did the hard work, feeling you're entitled for? What are you entitled for? Thinking that because you live, you're entitled to actually be. But what you tend to forget is that what you feel entitled to, that life, that good life, there is a price to it. It doesn't come easy. You don't sit down, watch Netflix, watch pornography all day, and have all this hedonistic life with you. You have to choose. There is a price to pay. You have to live a life that's bitter to achieve that. You have to delay gratification. You have to be conscious and listen to your unconscious mind. You have to sit down and do what you need to do. You have to focus and actually come in terms to who you are. You haven't yet discovered yourself, and you think just because you exist you're entitled to have all that you want. You can't have all that you want if you're not willing to work for it. Even if someone will hand it to you in plain hands, you will actually not keep it. It will just go away because you don't have the character yet. There is a reason why they say that, this saying that's a bit popular, that if you take a millionaire and or a billionaire, you strip him of the money, then just give them 2 to 3 years or 5 years, they're gonna triple, not even double the money that they have, because the money is not who they are. The money is just a representation. It's just a manifestation of who they are. What they really are, what they have, is the millionaire character, is the billionaire character, is the character for success. Success will manifest itself when you have the character for it. Now, how are you gonna build a character when you're so unfocused? Now you find that this is Jack. This is a question you're saying, is that most people tend to underestimate themselves because they don't know who they are and they don't know who they're worth. Because everywhere they turn to, from the media, from online, everything from legacy media, social media, everywhere they turn to, there is hatred for ambition. There is hatred for ambition, that you are, it's bad, and you are misogynist. They call you all these names. Like, you find that people don't feel comfortable to have ambitions, and they think it's bad, and they feel that they're gonna oppress some people, or they're gonna have something bad because of all these things, that it's bad for the environment, all these kind of propaganda and things that are actually going on in this world that are very big. And then you find that, yes, those things happen, but you're gonna let them be an excuse to the life that you want, or you're gonna actually find a way to penetrate through that and actually find a way. So one way is that you can let people tell you that your ambition is toxic and you don't need to have it, or you choose to actually sit down and focus and actually strive for what you want. So this is the reason why most young people tend to lose themselves and find they are underestimating themselves, because they don't know who they are. They don't have purpose, they don't have a goal, and they don't have ambition, they don't have drive. They're just surviving. They're not living. They are not harnessing their life force and actually live and actually feel the power that comes from living fully and be alive through that. And they find that people are living a miserable life. Young people are living a miserable life. They are engaging in video games, all these hedonistic pleasures to numb their feeling, to numb their conscious mind, that's calling to numb the unconscious mind, that's calling to the conscious mind that needs to change. So these are actually a very, very big thing, and it's a very, very big problem, and people don't get to see how, but it's a very, very tricky part of it, because you've seen or you've heard these people who say that these stories I mean, the people when they are dying, on their dying bed, that they are some people are regretting that, I wish I could have done this, or they're saying that, oh, I did well, I'm gonna part in good terms. So do you there is something that people don't get, like failure hurts, of course, because when you try, also you find that young people are scared of failing, actually. So you find that failing is really bad, and I'm not saying failure is bad. Like, failure feels bad. What I mean is that failure is painful, and it's true, it's painful, but failure itself is not real, because what you call failure, someone else calls a stepping stone or a learning process or learning curve. Now, when you let that which has not worked the way you wanted drive you and determines who you're gonna end up, then you're gonna find that you are gonna be misplaced, and you're gonna deviate to the path that you're on. Then you find that failure hurts, but regret hurts more. So what you're gonna choose? Are you gonna choose the fear for failure and not try and end up living a mediocre life, and on your dying bed, who knows, maybe you're gonna regret? Or you're gonna choose to actually live, sacrifice, learn the power of sacrifice, like sacrifice what you want, sacrifice, give that which you value most to get that which is better. So you value pleasure, give pleasure away to actually earn more pleasure as a result of producing your fruits. So what I mean is that delay that gratification. So if you value pleasure, just let that pleasure go away for now. Just focus on building yourself, focus on improving yourself, your status, your money, your everything, your life, your mind, and everything, and your spirituality. Then you find that after that, then you have that pleasure back. But now you're gonna have, when you have achieved all this, now you're gonna have to enjoy it more, and it's gonna be very sweet compared to what you're having now. What you think you're going through right now, what you think that you have, or what that which is distracting you is nothing compared to what you will get when you've actually made the right sacrifices and have worked and are harvesting the fruits of your own labor.
Oh, merci Israel. Ça c'est informative. It was very informative. I have one more question. Dis-moi, what kind of situation people tend to feel lack of confidence, and what is the long run and the short run of this situation? Dis-moi, Israel.
That's a very good question, and actually, I did touch a bit on it, like when I was explaining the last question, why people like underestimate themselves, like why young people underestimate themselves specifically, and tend to be lost in the world, and they lose confidence. So, your question goes like, what kind of what kind of situations people tend to feel lack of confidence, and what is the short and long run? So, I did touch on that. So now let's go back. So, what are the scenarios or situations in life through which someone can face the manifestation of confidence? Now let's look, um in every decision that you make, especially important decision like what's your career, what you're gonna be, what are you gonna invest your time in, who are you gonna date, who are you gonna marry, who are you gonna, all of these concepts, what is it that you love, what is it that you find interesting, all of this. Now you find that people tend to be puzzled with confidence when it's anything regards with destiny or purpose. So now what do I mean? So whenever you're faced with a question in front of you, or you're faced with a situation in front of you that requires you to be very specific with what you want and be clear and present it. Now, what most people tend to do, they tend to not be sure of what they want. So they are confused with what they want. And you can see this in when people are in the dating world. It exists. People and don't know what they're looking for. They are so confused, and they find that when try to talk to the other partner, you find that they find hard time actually to convey their message across and actually make their intentions very clear, so that the other person can reciprocate in a manner that's convenient to him or her. Now you find that this same goes through the discovery of self when you are choosing what your life is gonna be, what's your career gonna be, what's your future is gonna be like. So now you find people tend to lose confidence because they are afraid. Now, at the heart of this is fear of failure, as I've said before. So you find that people are afraid of failing, and as I've said very many times on this podcast, is that failure is not real. Like, people tend to make failure very real, but it's not. Like, what you actually call failure is just something that didn't work out, and you got a way to actually improve on it. So it's not failure, it's a stepping stone to success. So when you say failure and you actually feel you have failed, then you are actually seeing it in the wrong perspective, because everything has a law of polarity. What do I mean is that there is two sides of the coin, and there is two sides of things. Now, if you choose to look at the one side and disregard the other, then you're gonna be misled. So then that's where the confidence thing comes in. Now you find that you fail to recognize another perspective. Yes, you failed. Yes, you're gonna fail. Yes, things are not gonna work out. But let's look at the bright side. is where you're going, whether you fail or not, the best thing that could have happened to you. And you're gonna be surprised that whatever you try and actually do, which is true and right, you're gonna find that even if what you wanted is not what happened to you, it's gonna be the best possible thing that can actually happen to you. And it's adventure, and it's that spirit of play, because life is an adventure. You don't know where you're gonna end up, but you're willing to actually manifest your dominating thoughts and your dominating creation in this world to actually get what you want from it. So what is it that's dominating your thoughts? What is it that actually comes to your mind a lot? What is it that actually drives you? Are you driven with instant gratification, or are you driven to manifest the life that you want, the dream that you want, that life that you fantasize about? Are you gonna bring the hedonistic fantasies in the world through manifestation and domination of that which is your thoughts that are hedonistic in nature, or are you gonna manifest the thoughts that actually build? You are a creator, you need to create. So what is it that you're creating? Are you creating nothing, just a vessel for happiness? I mean happiness in terms of pleasure, not life happiness, through the search and pursuit of the truth and meaning of life. But does your meaning of life end with hedonism and start with it? Or does your meaning of life start with sacrifice and ends with sacrifice? So what is it? Are you gonna be living there day by day, just doing whatever you think you want, and think that there is no consequences, or the consequences you will just reflect them to someone else? I have bad news. You are actually wrong if you think this way, because you are not free. What you think is freedom is actually an illusion, because you cannot escape the constraints of the laws of the universe. What do I mean is this, is that whatever action you make, whatever thing you do, it has a consequence, it has an effect, either good or bad. Now, if thinking that you won't do anything about it won't give you consequences, then you are very, very wrong. I'm here to tell you that. But there is good news, is that if you're willing to actually figure it out, make sacrifice, make the right sacrifices, and do what you need to do, what you know you need to do, and focus on those things that call out to you, those small, small things that depend, that are calling to you, that are beckoning to you. Now, I want you tonight, before you go to your bed, just think, look your life, see, am I happy with who I am? What is it that's happening in my life? Am I really happy with who I am? Then what are those things that I need to work on? What are those things that actually are bugging me and I need to work on? Then you note those down, then start working on them. Now, what will come is not what you think is good, but it's the best possible thing that will happen to you, because you gotta be one and unify yourself with your unconscious mind to actually be whole and relieve that sense of emptiness, that sense of lack of purpose. Because how are you gonna get purpose when you're not yet even uncovered who you are? That you need to first of all know that part of you that you haven't. Then through that discovery, you're gonna find your meaning of the meaning of your existence, the meaning of your life, which is your purpose on this earth. So, and you can ask me, what is the long and short term, as you've said, Jack? What is the long and short term consequences of this? Is that you're gonna, first of all, short term, things won't work out in your life. I mean, you're gonna be wondering, everything you do, you will not feel anything move. Whatever you do, nothing is gonna move. You're gonna be asking yourself, what is it that actually I'm doing? It's like the world hates me. It's like, I don't know, something might be wrong. I do everything, but things don't tend to work. Yes, buddy, the problem is there are things that actually are calling to you, but you're ignoring them. if you could actually focus on those and have courage to actually work on those things, then things will be different. Now, it's the same thing with the spirit of Cain and Abel in the Bible. If you look at it, then you see like Cain is actually, God is calling to him, saying, if you actually made the right sacrifice, then things would go on with you. Then uh, Cain set out to actually seek revenge and actually punish God through by killing Abel. Then after that, God punished Cain, and Cain says that my punishment is so much that I can't bear it. Then he says, you're not gonna find benefits or fruits, whatever you're gonna plant, and you curse the whole time. So you find that you are gonna destroy the person you could have been, and then what's gonna be, it's gonna haunt you, and it's gonna be too much on your soul, and then you're gonna wondering what is it that's wrong. Then you're gonna start short run, you're gonna start abusing, and then start finding highs in different ways to actually numb that feeling, numb that voice that calls out to you, until you have actually completely betrayed your unconscious, your unconscious mind, or even your consciousness. Then what you're gonna end up is you're gonna find that you are a different person. The person that you think you couldn't have been, you're gonna be the same person, because there is a small thread of line between you self complete, or your sane self, and the part of you that's degenerated and that's insane in some sense. So there is a very very small thin line, and the that thread is so thin that with a small tilt to the other side you can easily break it. So there is nothing special about you that you're not yet an abuser, like, oh, you're not yet the person that you see on the streets. The only difference is the matter of the degrees through which it has been manifested. But now, if you actually continue to betray unconscious and actually not work on those things that do call out to you, then you're gonna find yourself in the same situation. You're gonna start abusing and find highs in places. Then what you're gonna have, you're gonna find that you're driven by pleasure, and you cannot think for yourself anymore. You can't be an independent thinker again, and you can't reason, and you find that the part of you is gonna die, and you're gonna be another person, another being, a vessel of just pleasure, pure pleasure. That's it. So you're gonna just find that you are, in some sense, your consciousness is dead. Like, you are no longer the person you were. You just, someone else came, and there is a version that was born, the version that's very degenerative, that you're not proud of. Then that's the short term part, and then the long term part is that with that it's gonna pass on, and then you're gonna find you're gonna be more and more depressed, and you're gonna find you're gonna be more regretful, and you're gonna live a miserable life, and you're gonna, chances are you even gonna die young, and you're gonna live through this life with no purpose, with no direction. Then what else is gonna be here for you? Then you find that living, you will start even questioning your own existence and why you're living and everything, and it can lead you to very very bad route. You know, it's very very sad to see that yourself is calling you to actually change. Yourself saying is actually calling you to change some things, and is shedding light to those things that actually are you need to work on. And then if you choose to ignore it, fine, no problem, ignore it. You can escape the reality, but you can't escape the consequences of escaping reality. So with all these things I've said, just I want you to take away this thing. Like, you can easily escape reality by numbing yourself, and doing whatever you do to actually numb yourself and escape the confines of reality as of now, just to be hallucinated in a different sense, kind of reality that's different to the current state which you are in, and to where those things are actually calling you. And then you're gonna find that you will never escape the consequences of escaping reality. So if you choose to escape reality through highs, or what I mean hedonistic ways, then the consequences of escaping that through that hedonistic gains, we're gonna find that it's inevitable. It's gonna happen. You're gonna find consequences for actually engaging in those highs. It can be through becoming an alcoholic, becoming a drug abuser, or you find it's a lot of things. Like, you find you're gonna be degenerate. which is not good. And you're gonna find that you will not be happy. You're gonna live a miserable life, regretful, resentful, bitter, all the bad things in this world. So it's really this time that actually to listen. I call to listen to your own self that's calling to you. Listen to your unconscious part that's calling to you, and correct those things that actually are beckoning to you and are shedding lies to you, because there is a reason why those things bother you. And if you can change those, if you can work on those, then you're gonna be closer to the best version of yourself, to the person that you are meant to be. Then uh Jack, I think this is actually a very good place to end. And yeah, I really had actually a very good time with this. And I think we've spent some quite a while on this. And then yeah, I would actually love to have you back again. And yeah.
Et bon, Israël,
And
merci pour l'opportunité. Thank you very much. I like the discussion and the answer you gave me. Very informative and very useful. And I think it's next time. À la prochaine, Israël. Merci pour m'inviter.
yeah, also, yeah, see you
Santé,
see you
bonne
next one. Yeah,
vie.
ciao, bye. Yeah.
Hasta la vista.